soup. History does not remember blood. It remembers names.
That's definitely on.
Yodel-a-hee? You can do a yodel. Right now you probably can, right?
No, yeah, my voice
I'll
would
probably
probably
rip your throat.
I'll be out for the rest of the pod. I just do. Just have to read my face, right?
Yeah, totally.
Aaron just spent the last 20 minutes chopping it up. Once we went into pod mode,
He shut down.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were starting.
We want to know
it's just
part
funny.
of this.
Yeah, it was a little jarring.
I didn't know this was a start.
No, we're on. Mics are live.
Wow.
The intros are pretty much just me and you. I guess Aaron takes his time to recoup, get ready for your intro. Then he gets into it.
Yeah, I gotta get comfortable. I gotta see where we're going here. I react off of you, so do something so I can react.
I mean, we do. We toss it up. It's a jump ball, and then you never grab it.
I play point guard. Don't put me in the jump.
This man's a 6'10". You're Ben Simmons. Yo, get in the post, man. What the fuck are you doing? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey and Teddy, and we are back to talk about House of the Dragon, Episode 9, The Green Council. Probably the most divisive episode of the season so far, based on people online debating about it, which
I didn't like
caught me by surprise. I thought you were coming in.
Teddy said he didn't like it. That's coming.
No, I didn't like what happened in the episode.
See?
Great episode.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
episode.
yeah,
but
well,
I don't
what?
like what happened in the episode.
He's all,
okay.
He's Mr.
You know what I mean?
Team
I'm
Black
Team
now.
Black.
Even though somebody
But, like-
messaged us on the main account,
Oh,
they're
here we
like,
go.
Teddy spent the whole episode fawning over Eamon, and then he's just disgusted with them by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That was so funny. A
You
lot
change up so quick.
of the replies to
Don't thanks, man.
the last episode's like Teddy just figuring out the show. Episode 8.
Hey, I didn't read the book, man. So, I mean, I knew there was a war coming, but, I didn't.
You're like, you
I'm
watch-
putting the pieces together as I'm watching.
You
I
watch
think we
The
said-
Godfather, you're like, Sonny's making it this time.
I think we've said it every time you've been on, like in the earlier episodes, like, well, but it's all leading up to this war, though. He's like, yeah.
Okay, well, I know the Civil War, like a civil war between, like, King's Landing and, like, the North or something, not a civil war between King's Landing.
I
pretty
like
much.
that. Yeah, you
know what I mean?
Glass half full to the
Yeah.
end.
Well, because in his mind, he just takes the American Civil War as North versus South. So every other
Yeah,
Civil
yeah,
War he
okay,
hears about, oh, well, it has to be the North coming down against the South. That's just what a Civil War is.
I mean, this North, they say themselves. They do nothing, huh?
I remember Cam, when Captain America Civil War came out, he was like, are they time traveling?
That must have put you in a pretzel, Ted.
American education, man. Fantastic. And I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this episode on YouTube, of course, but also Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the places wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on social media, at Nerd Soup, at Bo Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey, and at Teddy Nerd Soup. Even give Nash a shout out, at Anthony JQ Nash. Go give him a follow. He's always tweeting ridiculous things.
He just wants to be loved.
Like Dahmer.
What?
I'm in the middle of watching Dahmer right now, and that's all he says he wanted was to be loved.
So was Aegon Targaryen. All he wanted to do was be loved.
I mean, this guy heard Cheers, and he thinks he's king. I mean, he is king, I guess. He is king. But he didn't,
Who do you think you are,
he
the
didn't
king?
want king. He didn't want king, but then he can see people start to like him, and he's like, yeah, I'll take this on.
I'm still hung up on you being in your Dahmer era.
What?
A lot of people made the
I'm not
comparison
Dahmer.
to Homelander at the end of season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone starts cheering, and he's like, oh, I guess they kind of like that.
Yeah.
And Aegon had the similar reaction. Oh, wait, everyone loves me now. And a lot of people made a good point about that we didn't bring up. What is he going to do next? Because he didn't want the throne. Now he's been pushed into it, and he gets that great ovation. So that can make him even more of a monster. Because now, when you, I forget the quote. It's hard to take a crown off of, it's hard to put a mad dog back on the leash once you've put a crown on its head. I think that's what Tyrion said about Joffrey.
It's a bar.
Right, yeah. Well, Tyrion used to spit. I love George R. R. Martin. He published a Tyrion quote book. Just feeling himself.
Did he really? That's hilarious.
He's like, look how clever I've made this man. But I think that's a good point, because now he's definitely going to have to struggle with his authority, because Otto's going to have a say on a lot of these things, and his mother as well. But it may be hard for them to hold him back.
He's going to turn the throne room into like a man cave, just play his video games. That's all he wants to do.
Can you guys explain why it was so vital for either one of Otto or Alicent to get Aegon? Because it seemed like they were like, no matter what, he was going to be king. So why was it so big for Alicent to get Aegon, and why was it so big for Otto to get Aegon?
Because Alicent didn't want any harm to come to Rhaenyra. Otto was.
But either way, what's he?
Well,
they got him now. So what's the
you
difference?
need the influence.
Yeah, it's the influence.
Oh,
so if Otto gets
okay.
his, it's Aegon, we're gonna crown you, but you're gonna have to kill Rhaenyra and her children. And knowing Aegon, he'd be like,
I hate
it's a
those
sacrifice we
Sounds
have to
good.
make. Yeah, they
Oh,
were
you
always
mean those
mean.
Is it
little
for the good of
nerds
the
that-
realm? It seems like if you say it's for the good of the realm,
Yeah.
anything goes in
that
King's
stupid
Landing.
nerd, I bashed his head into the table last week. Yeah, I could do that.
Thought you'd never ask. So Alicent, yeah, we made this point on the first review that even though she wants to crown her son and she wants to usurp Rhaenyra's throne, she wants to do it politely. Sorry,
Yeah.
but this is ours now. We won't kill you. Hopefully you don't retaliate.
Yeah.
I feel like she knows that, and she's
Well, she
trying to
wants
keep what's left and good in her
she wants to have her
out.
cake.
You know what I
and-
mean? Like,
no, I think that's
she knows
exactly
what's going to
it.
happen to her, but she wants to try to. What'd you say?
I'm glad
She
he
wants to
keeps
have her
cutting
cake
you
and
off.
eat it too. You know?
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah. What? Cake and eat it too?
Yeah.
You're supposed to have like cake is like. I get it. I swear I get it. You want to have your cake and eat it too. I want to have a wife and I want to mess around. You know.
But as applies to cake, have you ever had your cake and not eaten it?
I had a slice. Saying you want to have the whole thing?
Right, well, I blew his mind because the idea is if you eat your cake, you no longer have it.
He just, yeah.
Yeah.
He just flipped me up.
But you had the nice little
Now it
analogy
makes
there.
sense.
That's a good analogy.
Well, I didn't know the cake analogy.
I know, yeah, the cake analogy for some reason it's been lost. But you make a good point about Alicent that there is still a lot of good in her. And I do wonder, a lot of people have criticized this about the adaptation. If they couldn't have made Alicent a bit more conniving, if this was more her doing, then, you could keep Otto's plans intact.
She's playing us?
No, I don't think she's playing us, but I think there is a lot of, like you said, there's still a lot of good in that character, and maybe they could have written her to sort of leave that behind. Like, yeah, there was something there with Rhaenyra, and maybe there will always be feelings there, but for her to be shocked by them having all these plans to put Aegon on the throne,
Bro, it's
it almost
so
seems
funny, dude. She had no idea. She's like, wait, so no matter what, this was happening?
it almost seems like
You
she's
guys planned this whole thing?
too smart not to be aware of that.
Yeah.
That it shouldn't come as a surprise, but it could
Well,
be.
a lot of stuff's happening with her, too. Maybe she could fall, not see these clues that they've been leaving around.
Well, I think a lot of people, even us going into this series when it was announced, were like, look out for Alicent. She's going to be the new Cersei. And she's just not.
No.
And that's not like a good thing or a bad thing. There's two different characters, obviously. But Cersei would have broke the news that this was the plan the whole time. She would have had this in her back of her head since Aegon was born. So, and like you said, she's a little bit more conniving, whereas Alicent, I think, is sympathetic, and she does have some good traits about her, and she's not purely evil and doesn't have the same ambition as maybe her father does. So I think the way they portrayed her character is less conniving, less ambitious, and more of being thrusted into a situation where she
Just trying to make the best of it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Really, that's really what it comes down to. So I think if you can argue, if you like to view her as someone who took that information from Viserys before he died, and that being like her little game in that moment, by taking him as his word and bringing it up to her father, knowing what was going to follow, then yeah, sure. I think she definitely isn't opposed to playing the game when she needs to. But I don't think the intent is ever wholly malicious.
And I think more fans may have wanted more of Cersei in her, because I think with Cersei, you can also read it as she's been used for marriages, for political purposes, and eventually she just resolves to play the game better than everybody else. If this is the world I'm living in, then I'll be just as brutal, I'll be just as harsh as all the men in this world. And I think for Alicent, there's been too much of the commentary of how she's been manipulated and how she's been used by other players in the game, which is true. It is legitimate, and I've appreciated some of that commentary. But sometimes, I've seen a lot of women fans of the show say this, sometimes you just got to let a woman be as evil as the men. That could be just as enjoyable. So, I don't know, maybe in a different world, as the show progresses, and as the Civil War actually begins, we'll see more of that side of Alicent, where she realizes, it's like that conversation she had with Rhaenys, where Rhaenys basically says, you're not doing this for yourself. you're telling yourself that you can guide these men to be more peaceful, but these are all lies. You're still being manipulated. You're not the queen on the chessboard. You're still the pawn. Or a bishop.
The rook.
Okay, yeah.
The rook. Yeah, she's a rook.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. So like I said, maybe in season 2, as the war starts to play out, we see that sort of darker side to her where she says, okay, I'm going to do whatever I need to do because of my ambition.
Well, I think this is going to be the start of that. I agree with you because she comes into the Red Keep all saddened, trying to figure out how to maneuver now that Viserys is dead. And she comes with her idea, and Otto just says, all right, let's roll the plan. I love it. And then she had no idea what was going on, and she wanted to play the game. Like she felt like this was her turn to use what she got from Viserys and finally get Aegon on the throne. And the men, Otto, already had something planned, regardless of her bringing this information in.
That's actually a good point, because it's the first time where she's committed to the idea of placing Aegon on the throne.
She felt like she was like, she felt like she was ahead, and like she had this message, and she was going to push this forward. Meanwhile, there was already a plan that was happening regardless. And to speak on that, I don't even want to know what would have happened if Viserys didn't die, like if Rhaenyra was still there and she didn't leave. And Viserys died. Like, she left and Viserys died. Imagine if Rhaenyra was still here and Viserys died.
Right. No, she would have been...
her room would have been torched.
Yes.
Like, she would have been dead.
Her room would have been torched and her children would have been slaughtered.
Yeah.
Want to be...
brutal.
No, I think that...
And the way Otto tries to justify it as well. Viserys is... I said this on the other review. His body wasn't even cold yet. And he's already plotting to kill his favorite child... And Alicent says that to him. Don't tell me that Viserys didn't love her. And then also plotting to kill her children.
Plotting. Buseberry's dead. They won't even take the guy's body out. And they want to keep talking.
Right. That was so nasty.
Everyone just stood there. This guy was a high-ranking guy. No?
He was
you're on the fucking King's Council. Yeah.
And the knight just kills him. And... I don't know. I don't like where we're going here. In
well, obviously it was disturbing to see that because he is the one person who sticks up. And the way that Criston Cole is circling him like a shark, he just appears behind him as Beesbury's still talking. And
say something. Say something.
It could have, obviously you throw down an elderly man that hard, you risk killing him, and he did kill him. I think that it was, Criston's anger got the better of him. He's got this grudge against Rhaenyra, so it's anybody who supports her, anybody who has any type of love for her instantly becomes his enemy. It's not even about Alicent at this point. It's just an opportunity to take revenge against Rhaenyra for his perceived slights. But that was very disturbing. And like you said, it's just the business was more important than disposing of this corpse.
I wanted that man to get out so bad on the horse.
So people were complaining about the vibes of the episode, that they didn't really paint the Greens as villainous as they could have. But I thought moments like that established them as usurpers.
They were usurping the whole episode. What are you talking about?
There's a lot of
everyone was trying to leave.
Usurping.
Are you kidding?
But people were saying, "Oh, we wanted to see more beheadings of the lords who didn't."
There was guys hanging in the castle.
I know. Yeah, they hung the guy out, Lord Caswell, right?
Yeah, and
Poor
like you said, Lord Beesbury, and threatening to kill a whole family. I don't know. I think that's pretty dark.
He was pretty straightforward too. He said we have to kill Rhaenyra. It wasn't like wording around it. It was straight up, we have to kill her family.
He's like, what do you think Damon's going to think about this? That's a good point. Can't really talk to that guy.
No, yeah, he hates Damon, too. They've got some bad blood.
But a great moment, sorry to cut you off there, Aaron, is when he tasks Howard Westerling with the job of assassinating Rhaenyra and her children. And he's like, I'm done. I quit.
Oh, yeah, he hung his coat up. I love it.
And,
I'll come back when we got a king.
Right, yeah.
We'll reconvene.
I take orders from the king. He doesn't obviously have a lot of screen time, but every time he talks, I love listening to that accent. And he's just got that Selmy charisma to him and that aura of a knight. Somebody made a great point. Beware of the old man in a job where young men frequently die, because he's been around the block for a long, long time. And, he obviously draws his sword against Criston, who's been proven to be a formidable fighter. So he doesn't back down there either. And he does the honorable thing. So I just wanted to shout out Howard Westerling, one of my favorite supporting characters.
Well, it's
I hate Criston.
The way that Jason Lannister cut out, too. As soon as they drew swords, he just got out of his seat. He's like, whoa, okay.
I mean, it's always tough, like, especially with Kingsguard or any character in these shows that take their vows, because there are so many contradictions. I think Jaime said it's like honor your father and protect the king. What if the king is trying to kill your father. And basically, the decisions they have to make, you can really justify it in any decision in that moment. Obviously, the honorable thing is what Westerling does and throws down his cape. But in Criston's mind, this is the royal family now. I'm sworn to protect them. So what do I do in this situation?
Yeah, in Criston's mind, he did nothing wrong with killing Beesbury.
Treason.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess treason. Yeah, that's how I would justify it.
He probably is. Yeah, I guess he justifies every killing he does.
And Olivia Cook's performance in that council scene was pretty incredible. Like, you could see the stress written all over her face, the way she's rubbing her temples, the reactions that she's giving people, and the way that she blows up on them, especially Otto. So, like I said, the character continues to be very complex, and this is probably, it is the most complicated situation she's ever found herself in. And this is the road ahead now. There's no turning back. So to try and do things the nice way or the honorable way, that gets you killed.
I feel like Otto is so thrown by how Alicent's acting. Because a couple episodes ago, he's like, I knew you can play the game. And now she's like throwing him for a loop.
No, we made that point. Yeah, we need stabby Alicent back.
Oh.
Grab the knife from the king.
She almost made this whole thing a lot easier for them.
Almost close.
Yeah, right. You hit an artery. Holy shit.
But
it's a nasty scar.
Yeah, what'd you think about the little arrangement Larys and Alicent have?
That was kind of creepy. I was going to do a poll, but like one of the cringiest moments on the show.
Oh.
That was going to be in the poll. That was awkward.
They pulled left foot or right foot.
I wonder how she... I'm not going to worry about it.
Wonder how she figured that out?
No, I wonder how she feels.
She wasn't...
She clearly disgusted.
Disgusted.
Right.
And it's not even like because...
She's getting solid info, though.
That's true.
Just show your feet a little bit. It's disgusting that he's lacking it.
It's not even like the foot thing that I think is disgusting. I think it's just that's his way of basically manipulating her and giving her information. And then obviously she's not cool with it. And it's just a weird vibe he gives off during it.
Well, we were wondering in certain scenes when he's itching to murder or kill, or when he said, "Oh, you want me to get Luke's eye?" Because he gets something in return. Yeah. That's why he's so anxious all the time. It's another instance
of he'll burn a fucking family down in public.
Just for feet.
Yeah.
Men are crazy. But he's asserting his power over the queen because he knows how valuable he is to her, being the quasi-master of whisperers, having ears on the ground. He's able to figure out Caswell, and he gets him. And then also with the spy network that Mysaria is running. So he understands the power that he does have. And I think because his presence is so non-threatening and he's just this scrawny, creepy guy that you don't realize that he fully understands how valuable he is to this family. And also, it's something that he would never ask of Otto. Who knows?
Seeing what...
Well, what was worse, that or the kids fighting?
The kids fighting. I was just about to bring that up. Seeing what happens in King's Landing is, like, horrible. Like, on the grounds, like, with the common folk. That was hard to watch, too, though.
Yeah, it was.
They're animals. They're savages down there, man.
Even the way they just, like, how they file their nails and teeth.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, my God. And obviously, I don't know if we talked about it, but Aegon's bastard.
Right, or bastards.
Yeah.
Because there was one...
Some guys say there's like 30 of them out there.
Yeah. And that's another thing we didn't point out, is that she lights the candles, and that's probably how Mysaria knew that the king was dead. So let us get our hands on Aegon. A nice little bargaining chip to try and shut down the children fighting pits. Yeah, but he's got the one bastard, and he's got the other one in a cage that's, I guess, being prepped to fight. So it gives you a little insight into this family and the way they treat their bastards. They don't give a fuck.
No,
it's just like King Robert all over again.
Yeah, that was a brutal scene, too, when they kill all of Robert's bastards.
That was the first scene of Game of Thrones where I was like, once again, I guess this makes me a sicko, but I was like, damn, this shit is good. This shit is fucking crazy.
It's the meme of the guy with the sicko shirt.
Yeah.
So you're just watching children in harm.
I just want to throw a compliment out overall for the writing this season, too, because I feel like this whole season was building up to this episode when he dies, because you can feel how uneasy everybody is now that he's dead, and the glue is just coming apart in King's Landing.
Well, a lot of people didn't like the whole chase for Aegon storyline, but I thought that really helped set in these jittery feelings, this uneasiness, the unbalance of the unbalanced nature of the situation, because
how high the
missing.
stakes are. Like, whoever finds him is what could happen with what. Well, you just explained it to me now with what could happen with whoever finds him. Like, what's
Right, and if he gets himself in some sort of trouble, or if he does exile himself, or if
wrong
he
person gets him?
unfortunately kills him, right, like Massaria said, then I guess you could name Aemon king, but that weakens your claim, because the whole thing is Viserys' first true-born son.
Yeah.
And that does matter. The most important thing, as Tyrion says in Season 8, is a good story. He's the second of his name, the name of the conqueror. He's got the sword, he's got the crown. That's a great narrative that you can push. The small folk were eating that shit up.
I thought for sure Aemon was gonna take him up on his deal and take him out. Not take him out, ship him off.
That was also sad, the moment between them when he says, why don't we just escape together? And Aemon's like, I live for this shit.
I know. I've been done. I need this. I need you out.
You know, I read books.
Well, he says it. He's like, I'm the one that's been training for this and prepping for this. I should be king.
I do love that trope in Game of Thrones of the second brother who's more fit to be king, and the older asshole brother who actually has the position. We saw it with the Baratheons.
I don't want to see what
both
happens.
generations.
I don't want to see what happens if he's king, because he's a Looney Tune, but he's fit to be a better king.
Well, he's
Well, who
also
knows?
not next in line.
Yeah, no.
Well, somebody was saying, well, technically, because Aegon wasn't crowned,
Yeah.
that if something did happen to Aegon, he would be the next in line. I doubt he cares about that either, that even if Aegon was crowned, if something was happening to Aegon, he'd be like, those kids are too young. And now there's a conspiracy that he's actually the father of Aegon's
I
kids.
saw that.
Because it seems like Aemon and Helena get along better.
Right, but also we've known Aegon to
That's
just...
a trip.
He has all the bastards, and with the scene 2 episodes ago with one of his handmaidens, like, I don't think he really cares about developing relationships when it comes to having sex. So that would be an interesting twist, but I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
Massaria
not
said
sold on
he's
it.
been down there for years, going to like her bar or whatever you want to call it. Brothel? Is that what it is?
Silk Road.
The Silk Road? I wouldn't go in there. It's dirty.
Where
That
would you
place
go?
was nasty, dude. You know what had a nice one? Littlefinger had a nice place.
That was classy, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Still probably smelled crazy in there, though.
The whole place smelled crazy. The whole
King's Landing, yeah.
yeah.
That's what Shay says, right? Just smells like shit and cum and piss.
Oof.
She was like, I love it.
I live for this.
Tyrion's like, you're crazy.
How do you differentiate between? Is it a combination of all?
I feel like I don't want to get into this conversation.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I mean, we're putting it off long enough, but that end scene was insane.
Well, Jesus, we still have to talk about some other things.
You don't want to get to that now?
Well, there was a scene between Rhaenys and Alicent.
Yeah, when she locks her in. Gives her
You're
proposition.
like, I just want to talk about that fucking NC.
Bro, she flexed so hard. She could have killed him, and she didn't.
Well, we can skip ahead to that. Why not?
Can we?
Yeah.
All right, nice. That end scene was fucking insane.
Yeah, and I guess it's...
Bro, that dragon was huge. I didn't know her dragon was that big.
Right, well, at this point, the show's been going for 20 years, so the dragons are growing.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I wonder when we see Syrax again if we're going to notice a size difference. And Caraxes the same. Caraxes was already a big boy, so if he's gotten bigger, that's just going to make him more formidable.
There's
But
a
that
reason
ended
why
up-
she didn't kill him. What's the reason why she didn't kill him? I mean, you guys read the books.
You're asking us, or do you
This
have
doesn't even
Master
happen
Heroes.
in the books.
Oh,
so this
really?
has been super controversial
Oh.
because it's something that they just made up.
What, to try and be like a wow factor, like the dragon coming in?
Exactly. So there's something that's going to happen later in the story that they may take out now, where this happening sort of pokes a lot of holes in the logic of what's going to happen later on. So that's why people are worrying.
Is
And
this trending
we saw it with
downwards
Game of
Is this trending downwards
Well,
now?
we saw it with Game of Thrones. Sometimes when you go for spectacle, it can hurt your logic. Maybe not in the moment, but down the road. But for the moment itself, people have been complaining about the logic too.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the defenses are she doesn't want to be a kinslayer. It's not her war. She doesn't really know the extent of the situation at this time or even what Rhaenyra wants to do. So to make that decision, if you murder, basically...
I guess it's on her head now. She murdered the king.
Yeah, it's a lot that comes with it.
I don't need that. That's
Maybe
my
she
idea.
gets in trouble. I don't know. I think the way the showrunners try to explain it is like her morality to see Alicent after having that conversation with her about being a mother and seeing her in that moment with her children standing in front protecting them. She, as a mother, I guess, didn't want to do that to her. But like we poked fun at, and many people have, like, think of all the mothers in the dragon pit that got smothered.
Yeah.
within
Or
seconds.
the common folk that you just killed.
And a lot, yeah. People,
Well, I got a kick because a few reviews ago we called them the small folk, and Aaron's like, "Imagine being called the small folk," and on the other review you're like, "Yeah, they gather up all the peasants." Like that's better.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like peasant sounds better than small folk.
no.
I think small folk is
Peasants is
just so derogatory. You
I
peasant.
guess, yeah.
what was it? Serfs? Wasn't that what like
I kind of like the serfs.
what civilization was that? Egypt? Mesopotamia?
I think that carried on through a
Yeah.
few civilizations. Feudalistic Europe.
Bro, I can't wait. We'll talk in the preview. I can't wait to see what happened. Like we got their whole reaction when they find out Viserys died, and that's all they found out was that Viserys died. Now imagine finding out your dad died and what's going on for Team Black.
Right.
Oh,
Well, yeah. So about the I've warmed up to the idea of like, and some of the points too being like just shows the disregard that the higher ups who play the game have for the citizens,
that's better.
for their citizens.
For the idiots.
They don't matter. They're basically less than pawns at this point. So they're so involved with their game that they don't really care about anybody else. I think that makes sense. Like you can workshop it in my head, and it can convince me. During the moment, I was like, "This is fucking awesome," because I wasn't expecting it, and I had a good time with it. And like we mentioned before, if she does say Dracarys, the show's over. Now, is there a more clever way? Maybe you could have gone about it. Sure, but like with the Damon thing and the stepstones, I was just like, it looks cool and it's cinematic. So, although I think the CGI kind of was.
What Damon thing?
Did
When he
you
was
really?
fighting?
Not the dragon, but the building itself. I thought it was very apparent. But that stuff really doesn't bother me.
I
as
think
much
you're
as
only
those other
saying that. You're
people.
trying to give Rings of Power a little,
No nudge.
yeah, a little brownie points.
I'm just it was noticeable
Sauron's
to me
not
when
gonna
I was
get you.
watching it.
We'll protect you.
He's,
Wait for that. So yeah, I've been thinking about this scene a lot, and I've been reading all the debates. Sorry, yeah, the garbage stopped. As for why she didn't kill them, I guess you could keep in mind that the way narratives spread throughout the Seven Kingdoms, if she takes them out, the narrative is Queen Rhaenyra had her extended family slaughtered just in case they don't take the throne. The story would be there was something happening in the Dragon Pit, and one of Rhaenyra's lackeys, former Princess Rhaenys, who's still bitter that she didn't get the throne, slaughtered an entire family.
picturing a Westerosi 24-hour news cycle like us. And Rhaenyra stuck her rabid dog Rhaenys and killed our king and the royal family.
I want to know how.
But the liberal media. Who's Westerosi Alex Jones?
We need that character, right? You just use code Valeria20 for 20% off our Milk of the Poppy we're selling right now on our website. Well, speaking of sponsorships, before we get to the second half of this review, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Smile Brilliant. If you're like me, you're probably confused by all the variations of teeth whitening on the market. Items like LED lights, whitening strips, charcoal, and whitening toothpaste might sound good in theory, but they don't fully get the job done like one of Smile Brilliant's custom-fitted whitening trays. LED lights will accelerate the process, but they won't make your teeth whiter, and could lead to teeth sensitivity. Whitening strips totally neglect gum lines, crevices, and molars. They work, but your remaining stains will become more prominent. Charcoal is abrasive, and wears down the tooth enamel, while whitening toothpaste only works on surface stains. But with one of Smile Brilliant's custom-fitted whitening trays, you can freshen your smile without worrying about damaging your teeth or leaving behind any noticeable stains. Historically, whitening trays were only dispensed by dentists at a price of $300 to $1,000. That all changed when Smile Brilliant came up with their innovative Lab Direct process that is not only less expensive, but far more effective in achieving that picture-perfect smile we all crave. And right now, you can visit smilebrilliant.com and use promo code NERDSOUP to save 20% off all products, including their custom-fitted teeth whitening trays or custom-fitted night guards if you're someone like me who grinds your teeth in their sleep. They also have a great selection of professional oral care products, such as electric toothbrushes, water flosser, dental probiotics, and much more. And remember, that's promo code NERDSOUP for 20% off all products, so don't wait, click that link, and take care of your teeth. It's so important. So important. And yes, it really is that important. Recently, I took care of my teeth, and it's just the peace of mind, you know? Shore that all up. I'm also looking for a way to get in better shape, but I feel like there's not a lot of safe and effective forms of getting in peak physical condition, you know?
Well, boy, do I have something for you.
What?
Did you know at-home boxing is one of the safest and most effective forms of exercise?
No, I didn't.
Well, allow me to introduce you to Fight Camp. Fight Camp is interactive at-home boxing. They bring the best workout in the world into your home and make it fun. Explore thousands of workouts led by expert trainers with decades of experience teaching proper boxing form and technique. Fight Camp has live punch counting stats that motivate you by counting every punch throughout your workout and pushing you to meet your goals each round. As you progress, you'll unlock achievements and you can go head-to-head against other members, whether they're across the country or across the living room, or in this case, the recording room.
No, yeah, I definitely take you out in under 3 rounds.
I don't think we fight each other. We see who's better at the punch counting.
Well, I'm sure they're keeping score and I would win.
I'm better than you at things.
I used to beat you up in Wii boxing. What are you talking about?
Still have nightmares about that.
The thing with boxing, the reason I never do it is because it's just not very accessible.
One of the best things about Fight Camp is that it makes boxing accessible to everyone.
Oh, shit.
No matter what fitness level you're at, what your age is, or what your experience with boxing is, you can do it, and you're going to have a great time. So join the biggest boxing community in the world without leaving your home. Fight Camp packages start at just $99. They even offer some great financing options so you can get started for as low as $9 a month. To get everything you need, go to fightcamp.com/nerdsoup to learn more. That's fightcamp.com/nerdsoup. If there's ever an Anchorman situation where podcasts have to fight each other, and we got this Fight Camp, it's lights out for everybody else.
We have a built-in advantage now. They need this in King's Landing because everybody's now throwing hands over the king and the queen.
Doesn't King's Landing know that Rhaenyra's heir though?
Well, we made that joke that all the peasants
they don't know that, or like they don't care.
It's like U.S. Like 10% of the U.S. right now who has no idea who's president.
That makes sense, I guess.
Like it's still Obama, right?
Wanted him.
Obama's president for life. I thought he was a dictator.
Free bread for life. Aegon's king. And everyone cheers.
So I think you could say it that way. Like it's not a great optic. Also, you can also argue.
But do you think that's going through her mind in that moment?
What? How to play the townfolk?
Well, all the things that you just said, or Bo just said, trying to like justify her actions. Is that going through her head in that exact moment? Like, if I kill them, then how's this gonna happen? How's this gonna look to Rhaenyra? What's the Tucker Carlson?
No, I think she had. I think when she went down there and came up, she had a plan on what she was gonna do.
I don't know. I think she maybe was just trying to escape, and that's
she might want this civil war. She might want this war to happen.
I think she
might play. Yeah, she might get something out of this.
Everyone else dies. She's the only one left. She can be queen.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also just say that Rhaenys isn't a
murderer.
It's tough because she just murdered all those people. Her back was against the wall. It was the only opportunity she was going to have to free her dragon. So you can blame the Greens for that. Don't lock somebody in chains who has access to a nuclear weapon because her back was against the wall. If she flees King's Landing, she may never see Meleys again. So not only does that hurt the position of just grinning at me.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head, it's so because on the regular review when we said they caught lacking when she came with the dragon, that's just one of the funniest videos ever made.
Like I said, if she does flee King's Landing, Meleys is off of the board entirely. And that is somebody who she's been with for her entire life. There's a sentimental value to that relationship. So it's like leaving behind your dog. Would you do that if your house is on fire?
0 chance. I'd rather die than...
Yeah, and it's like if the dog happens to kill a couple hundred people, well, you shouldn't have put the dog in chains.
You would forget your wife, daughter, and dog if your house is on fire. You
No
would
chance.
run out. You would run out and be like,
no chance.
Oh, fuck. I gotta go back in.
Don't disrespect me.
No, because your first instinct would be like, oh, house on fire. I gotta get out of here.
No,
that could happen.
It wouldn't happen.
I wouldn't hold that against you.
I swear it wouldn't happen.
You would go back in, I think, but like your first initial reaction, like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here.
It wouldn't be to leave. Come on, give me more credit.
Like I said, I think you would be like, oh fuck, I gotta go back. Then you have the heroic moment.
No, I'd do it in the moment. I live for those moments.
One of the things I always complained about in later seasons of Game of Thrones was characters' reactions to dragons. They would see a dragon for the first time, and it wouldn't be as awe-inspiring as I would have liked it to be. Like when Daenerys saves them north of the wall, that's the first time some of those characters are seeing a dragon, and they just get on the dragon's back. So when this dragon shows up in this moment, and all these characters are familiar with dragons, it is still terrifying for them. It's just them and their swords and the city watch, and that's not going to get the job done.
They got no defense.
Right, so Otto's reaction, Otto screaming at them to open the gates because he doesn't want to get burned alive. The way Alicent showed some bravery there, standing in front of her son, knowing that she's obviously can't do anything to stop it, but the lengths she's willing to go to protect her children. But Aegon had the best reaction to me. He's feeling himself. He was enjoying the coronation. I'm the new king. I'm going to pull out the sword. I'm going to fight for you. And as soon as the dragon came out, he turned into a little chicken shit, hiding behind his mom. Can't even look at the dragon, closing his eyes. So that fear...
At that point, it's lights out.
How was Aemon's reaction? I actually didn't...
Well, Aemon seems into it.
Yeah.
Once again.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of just impressed.
You could guess that.
No, he's definitely startled, but I think Eamon and Helena were, like I said, a little bit impressed that she had the balls to just do this.
He probably wants it so he can get his dragon. Vagar.
Oh, no, 100%. He was
town.
like, oh, if I had my fucking dragon.
Oh, you'd be so dead.
So it just as a spectacle, I was very impressed by it. And I think it was a moment that it scared the shit out of me. Just the chaos, the destruction. They
do a good job of putting you in the scene. I'll give them that. They do a really good job making you feel like you're there.
Well, it does really come out of nowhere. It caught me completely off guard. Like I said, it's not something that happens in the story. So the weight of the coronation to me was enough to end the episode. I was like, man, this is such a great way to end this. The Greens are feeling themselves. They've crowned Aegon. It seems like they've got the upper hand, and all of a sudden they don't. So like I was totally thrown off by it.
So are you guys hoping that that's all that was just a dramatic scene, and then nothing really plays out from that?
What do you mean?
Her doing that.
No, I actually think that it should
off.
play into the perception of Team Black. That maybe it does sway people.
What, that they're honorable?
That the perception is Rhaenys just destroyed and massacred these innocents. I don't think anybody's going to care about the fact that she didn't kill Alicent and her family, but maybe it changes the perception of the people, that the perception people have on Rhaenyra.
Why is everybody hung up on that? That she broke into... Why is that the big topic? That she killed the small folk?
Well, because it's like you kill them, but you don't kill the real people who can end a war.
It's a little maybe inconsistent.
But you can also justify it where...
I'm justifying it by that she has something to gain from this war, and she knows the war is going to happen.
Yeah, right.
And I think she thinks that Team Black's going to win, and then what was that proposal that Rhaenyra gave her? Like, she still has that proposal going on.
Right, the marriage proposal.
Yeah.
And there really isn't. There isn't even a war yet.
No, she knows there's going to be one, though.
You could say that's that declaration of war, just by scheming and naming Aegon king. Isn't
that what they talked about?
Literal treason.
Alicent
and for Rhaenyra.
Yeah, but that's what her and Alicent talked about, was what's going to happen after.
Right, yeah, war is coming, but officially there has been no declaration.
Right.
So if we said this on the other review, if Rhaenys flies back to Dragonstone and Rhaenyra goes, yeah, I'll bend the knee.
Or like...
oh, I'm glad I didn't fucking murder them.
Or she thinks she could have talked to Alicent, and she could have done it without any damage.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she feels the same way Alicent does. She doesn't want to hurt Rhaenyra, and I'm sure Rhaenyra doesn't want Alicent to be hurt either, because they did have that relationship. So her reaction, if Rhaenys just burnt her, childhood friends alive, or more than friends, whatever they were, they obviously care for each other, or did have love for each other, and kind of rekindled, very recently. So to come back and be like, what do you mean you burnt them to a crisp?
I guess that was a hell of a toast from Rhaenyra, huh? Getting the love back in there. And now Alicent wanted to save her. Whereas you do this 2 episodes ago and she's all aboard with Otto.
And I do think Alicent makes a good point to Rhaenys about all the support that they've given Rhaenyra and Damon over the years, and what have they gotten in return? Dead children, husband's now sick. It's like their position, because of them supporting the Blacks, has been weakened. But Rhaenys makes that point to Alicent that Rhaenyra is doing this for herself. It may not be good or bad. The morality of it is still very gray, but at least she's the one taking charge. She wants to see herself on the Iron Throne. She's not doing it for Damon. Damon works for her. She's not doing it for her kids, even though she loves her kids and wants to see them succeed her. And with Alicent, she's still, like Rhaenys says, she's just fighting for that window of freedom, so that maybe her perspective can be heard, maybe that her advice can be heeded, and she can try and steer all these men in her life in certain directions that she thinks will bring about peace and stability. But we know how that goes when a character's trying to do good and ends up blowing up in their face. So I think with Rhaenys wants Alicent to just admit it, or maybe become...
I feel like Rhaenys can respect Rhaenyra more than Alicent.
Yeah, no, it really does come down to that. And I think her being passed over plays into it as well. So, and these characters, Eve Bess is awesome as the character, and she looked great in the armor, and it was a great moment, but it's like they fool the audience into them thinking that they're just good. that
Yeah.
they're just traditional good guys. Everyone keeps saying Rhaenyra's the main character. Maybe she is, but that doesn't mean she's the good guy.
Yeah.
It's seeing it through good guys and bad guys. It's the story's not that simple. So I think that they can make decisions that contradict what they say or what they feel and what they believe, because it's a world full of contradictions, and that's really how you survive.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably like going too far into it. Like, it was, I think, in my opinion, just meant to be just a cool moment for Rhaenys. And a nice little, we're known for the episode 9 surprises. So here's one. That looks cool. And it looked cool. So in that regard, I'm fine with it. And, by season 2, I think no one's going to really care about it anymore. And still, we can even have a situation next week where Rhaenyra or Damon ask her, like, why didn't you do, like, why you had your dragon, why didn't you do anything? And we get an explanation.
But the way the show has been written, I don't even think we'll get that moment, because I think there have been so many things that happen that you want to see characters react to them, and they just sort of leave that out.
Yeah.
I miss Viserys.
Ain't
I guess
got
Viserys got his name, or not his name, but like what he wanted to be known for.
Yeah,
Viserys
a little
the Peaceful.
epitaph. I think
What's
he
that?
deserved that.
The moniker given to him by
You could have said
Otto,
nickname.
whose first order of business after he dies is to kill his daughter.
Oh, exactly.
By honoring Viserys the Peaceful, we're going to kill his favorite child. That's what he would have wanted. To maintain the peace, of course.
It's still bothering me that Alicent is still taking, like, she took what Viserys said, because he wasn't in the right state of mind, he was dying, but, and like, you're taking that, like, that was your reason to put Aegon on the throne.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me, like, you didn't have plans to do it before
It would
either.
have happened regardless, though.
You needed him to say that on his deathbed to take the throne?
That was a nice set of sprinkles on
bothering
top of the sundae that Otto had already made. And Alicent just touch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We could eat the ice cream without sprinkles. I prefer that,
Oh,
to tell you the truth.
He was
Maybe
going
if
to
they
do
were-
it. It was going to happen.
We're eating ice cream.
Maybe
It's gonna happen.
Maybe if there was a scene.
That's been established.
That's the scariest part, is that it was going to happen regardless.
No, that is spooky, right? Because they all just shift in position. They're like, oh, Lannister, you did that, right? You did that. The Maester, right? All these plans. that
She
we've
gets
already-
thrown for a loop, dude. Her face was so funny.
Mr. Krabs.
I already got the invitations made for the coronation. I wish, like, added in that Alice and Otto scene, it could have been like, she goes to her father, because that makes sense that she would go to him after the king's dead and be like, yeah, you said something weird to me about, like, he wants Aegon to be king. Weird, right? And then Otto being like, oh, you should tell the council that, and kind of make it Otto's
Have
way.
him play a little more.
Otto twisting the words rather than Alicent. But portrayed to me, it was very much Alicent taking those words for, like, fact. But if they would have added a scene like that where Otto is the one who takes those words that Alicent told her and then kind of twisted it on her, then she could be maybe have some plausible deniability. But I think here she's just as guilty as her father in that making Aegon king.
I like that she's not lying though, because he did say it to her. It's not like they had a little moment and then this is her plan to say that he wants it. In her head, it did happen.
And the way that it's written in the book is, I think it was done better, because they all sort of know what they're doing is wrong, but they go ahead and do it anyway. And I wish that would have translated to the show, where it doesn't have to be Alicent misinterpreting this prophecy. It could just be, King's dead, sounds good to me to crown Aegon, and I'm going to be the one who pushes him towards it. And they also removed part of Criston's role in the coronation, where Criston is in Aegon's ear trying to push him to do this. And we did see that scene with Aegon and his mother where he acknowledges that his dad obviously wanted Rhaenyra on the throne. He supported her for 2 decades. But I wish Criston would have been in his ear as well, poisoning him, pushing him towards this, so that I imagine they are going to call him Criston Kingmaker just to satisfy the fans. But he's really not Criston Kingmaker. He's Criston Crown Placer. They gave him the crown so that he could put it on Aegon's head. I guess that was a nod to the bigger role that he does play in the book.
Dude, I was like, why the hell is he doing that?
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
what the hell?
I think, people who haven't read the book, they were like, why the hell does Criston get that honor?
Actually, that makes it even worse with everything he's doing now that I'm thinking about it.
Right, you think maybe it would be the High Septon?
At the moment I watched it, I was just like, why is he doing that? But now I'm thinking about it, with all the shit he's done. Why is he doing that?
And that becomes his derogatory nickname, Criston Kingmaker.
That's
So
another way you see the green, like, even subtly, just trying to make Aegon more appeasing to the 30 peasants
I think we called them something different every time we talked about them.
to the filthy mud people.
To the Long Islanders in King's Landing.
Just by having the High Septon there and being coronated in the name of the Seven, changing some of the Targaryen logos for images of the Seven. Because to a lot of people, Targaryens are still outsiders. They follow this Valyrian type, they speak Valyrian, it's a Valyrian religion. They don't follow our gods. And to have Aegon named and coronated in the name of the Seven, I think is another way to kind of manipulate the masses.
Yeah, and she makes the point of giving him the knife, and that sort of gives him a little push. Also the sword. The Targaryen sigil on the outfit was just immaculate.
Yeah, his black suit, that was nice.
That was a
Right, so
really
it's-
cool moment for a character that nobody wanted to see be king. But even in that moment, it's like the pageantry of it was pretty epic.
But that seems like that's the only thing he wants is the pageantry of, like you said earlier, he just wants to be loved.
Well, it's great because they have all these the symbols of Targaryen power, and then the true symbol of Targaryen power bursts through the floor.
Yeah.
So you can have the knife, you can have the sword, you can have the crown, but at the end of the day, it's about dragons. That's what people...
I feel like they forget they have dragons.
It's kind of sad though when he's like to his mom, like, "Do you love me?" You just realize how fucked up this kid is because he thinks his father doesn't love him, and he had to ask, like...
She didn't even answer. She was just called him stupid.
Are you an imbecile? That's another thing, though. I wonder if if Alicent's thinking if maybe him and Viserys, or her and Viserys, parented a little better, maybe he would want the throne, and this would be playing out a lot differently.
Or maybe he just wouldn't be a fucking...
A lunatic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things may have gone differently if Viserys didn't change his mind after Emma's death, but after he lost Emma, there was no turning back
he had
for
nowhere
him.
to go.
Right. I think through his relationship with Rhaenyra, it was sort of... He was trying to honor Emma's legacy, and he acknowledged that she should have been named heir years earlier. She probably should have been ruling instead of Viserys, even when she was a child. She had a better hold on the politics and the maneuvering and all that stuff. So there was never going to be a chance for Viserys and Alicent to raise Aegon to be kingly, because Viserys didn't care, and Alicent,
True.
I think she's got this really weird relationship with her kids where they just remind her of the situation she was placed in, the uncomfortable relationship being with this older man, being forced to bear his kids, having no say in it, and they're just the constant living reminder. But her relationship with Aemon was a bit fascinating in this episode too, because he's almost like her protector. That's kind of the vibe that he gave in this episode, especially in that earlier moment when he embraces her and he tells her, "Cole needs me and we're going to get this done." They seem to be on the same page more than Aegon and Alicent.
Yeah, I think Aegon is, Aemond is presented in this episode differently than I would have imagined. Like you said, that he kind of does have some ambition for the throne. Definitely seems more suited. And compare that to like last episode when he basically stirs all the shit up at the end of that dinner and ruins what was a very lovely evening. Very upset about that. But yeah, I think each individual child has their differences to them where, like, I think Alicent, it's hard for her to connect to really any individual one. You saw how the way she berated Aegon after finding out about what he did to his handmaiden. Helena with her dreams and her prophecies, it seems like there's a disconnect there. And Aemond, I guess, is probably maybe the one that, I don't know, she can at least have a conversation with.
It feels like you can feel her want for like a normal child, like in her head. In her mind, like she just wants like a normal relationship with her kid.
Well, that is another difference, is that in the book she's not obsessed, but she is pinning a lot of her hopes on Aegon. So he gets preferential treatment. He's the typical spoiled eldest child, and Aemon becomes a bit bitter about that. And they definitely showed that in this episode with Aemon saying he thinks he deserves it more than his older brother.
You know what's been not bothering me? 'Cause who cares at the end of the day? But did you see, I'm forgetting her name, one of the writers basically saying that she's confused that everyone has picked Damon as like their internet boyfriend or whatever. And you see all the Damon stands like going absolutely crazy over that.
Yeah.
It's the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my life. I love Damon as a character, but the way they prop this man up and like coddle him and think he's like the sweetest baby in the world. When he literally, I saw one, it's like, oh, he's a great wife to Rhaenyra, a great husband. It's like he literally murdered his ex-wife. I don't know why, just all week I've been seeing that, and I hope it's not something where people continue to cry over. Because when it comes to Damon and these characters like Aemond, where they seem to, it's like they want their cake and eat it too. Where it's like they like the idea of the bad boy, misunderstood character, but when the writers make them do bad things, they get upset because in their head, it's like they're not that. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, it is. She's been taking a lot of flack for this episode, not only her comments about Damon, but the suggestion she claims she made in the writer's room. Wouldn't it be cool to just have Rhaenys pop up through the floor? Mm-hmm. And they ran with it. So she's been getting it from a couple of sides of the fandom. But
she said that as a joke, and they ran with it and did it?
No, I don't think she's... No, it's a legit
cool
suggestion.
Oh.
But people are upset with that because it's you can't spoil it, but there's something that later happens in the story, and we're definitely going to come back to this moment and say... this isn't adding up. This sort of doesn't make sense.
Oh, so you know what's going to happen?
One aspect of the story where, like I said, the logic of it isn't. If they do include that incident, it's not going to make sense. That's just an undisputable fact. They've sort of dug themselves a little hole here.
Can they get out of it?
They could get out of it by changing some things,
Okay.
but and they might do that.
But that goes to your point earlier, is where that's where they lacked. That's what they did in Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, sometimes it's you just have to continue down the path you're going down.
But it seems like the fandom, so
Like Boone playing IKF.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It has been very cool, like to see everyone come back, but it's getting a little too like Marvel-y, I've noticed. Like
No,
with the
it's
Stan accounts
fully made that transformation.
Yeah.
And I think those voices get amplified. For the most part, the fans are enjoying the show. They're not getting too excited about some of the decisions. They're not getting too upset about them. But especially with the Targaryens, the profile pictures, the bios.
the meme accounts, yeah, or not even the meme accounts, but like the.
Well, did you see that one account talking about villains in the world of Game of Thrones? And it was Joffrey, Ramsay,
And Sansa.
Aegon, and Sansa.
It's like
What?
I feel like a lot of them.
They don't like the way Sansa treated Daenerys in season 8.
Oh.
So a lot of Targaryen stans hate Sansa. That's where it becomes Marvel-y, where it's like, I'm not going to sit here and have a debate about whether or not Sansa was nice to Daenerys.
Or it's even like,
Get over it.
Daenerys is Daenerys is a fucking villain and she's dead. Like to a certain point, because like it's going to be annoying when Damon does some Damon shit and people are going to talk about, she hates Damon, she ruined Damon's character, just because they don't keep him in this shining light as what they have imagined in their mind, when realistically Damon has been portrayed as a gray character, and maybe like a charcoal gray.
Yeah,
you know?
I would agree with that.
Because he's done some very unforgivable shit, and he's going to continue to be Damon. He's nice to Rhaenyra.
Joffrey was nice to Marjorie.
Is
yeah.
Is there going to be a scene where Rhaenyra puts the knife to the flame and said, "Do you guys know this?"
We've been talking about that. Viserys obviously didn't tell Aegon about that shit.
No.
Who even knows if Aegon can read High Valyrian?
Because I'm sure she's going to
Yeah, he
find...
probably doesn't.
No.
There's going to be a scene. Alicent tells Rhaenyra why this all went down. And she's going to be like, wait a second. He told me that. And then she's going to have to try and prove it.
And it turns into a sitcom.
I think maybe down the road, yeah. Depends on how quickly they're going to cross paths.
Yeah.
So, well, you thought...
I mean, it's not going to happen now.
But at that point, there's going to be so much death and destruction, it's not even going to be...
Too late.
It's going to be like, by the way,
Yeah, it's going to be like...
this is what this actually meant.
I thought that... Oh, you thought that meant...
Oh. I don't know, but there could be a scene where that's
And
like...
it pans out and everything's just on fire.
It could be a scene that leads to like Alicent rethinking her whole life. Like, what the hell did I do? You see what I just started? Like...
I think a lot of that. I think both of them are going to have those moments going forward, or like this just got way out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
You
think
can see it getting out of the hand in the
Yes.
fucking in the scene.
Right, with
where she didn't
Alicent,
want all this. She made one word, and now people are dying. There's hits being put out.
Right, the war hasn't even started, and she just knows what's coming, so she's anticipating the storm. And like I said, it's written all over her face.
She makes one comment, and I was like, all right, let's go kill Rhaenyra. Wait, whoa, what?
And we also have the relationship between the Eric brothers, actually twins.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cleared up
we
a
were
lot of
wondering if it
confusion
was
for
one
me,
person.
yeah. Well,
Was that really a thing?
They did it with the Lannister twins.
On our review.
Oh.
Right.
Although we haven't seen the other one.
Thailand?
Yeah.
Stop that.
You can hear that?
So I thought their little adventure was effective, showing how people are going to start taking sides based on what they perceive, based on their own honor.
I love seeing that.
Right, with Sir Eric, him noticing Aegon's bastard, who's not even being taken care of. He's getting prepped to fight in this child ring. It disturbs him. And even when they do find Aegon, it's like, oh, is this the guy I'm supposed to fight for and support, even though I know someone else was named the heir? So he makes the decision to free Rhaenys. So you see the split, where Shireen says it in Game of Thrones. Brothers fought against brothers, and we're already seeing that, the way that a civil war can split up a family.
I feel like they would be like, hey, bro, like, come on. Let's just, I don't know.
Well, people die in their fucking vows in this show.
Try to make a decision together. He just bails on him.
Yeah.
No convincing whatsoever.
I mean, it's his twin. He might know where he's standing.
That's true. They do have a connection.
Twins freak me out. I still don't get how that works.
Twins?
I get like the biology of it and all, but like, why you look alike? why are you the same?
You know, there's a chance I can have twins.
Why? I think there's a chance everyone can have twins, no?
No, you're supposed to. It skips a generation. God damn it! It skips a generation, and Elena's uncle is a twin.
I don't trust twins.
So that means like Elena and her sisters aren't going to be twins, but her babies, Elena's babies, can be twins.
I would just...
Which in turn means I can have twins.
That would be such a disaster.
I swear, when we went for the first sonogram, dude.
Can you name Eric and Eric?
I thought I saw two of them. 2 eggs. And the nurse wasn't making comment of it. I'm like, is that 2?
Just a smudge on the screen.
is that 2 kids? She's like, no, what are you talking about?
You saw the doctor from Family Guy.
Dr. Hartman.
What are you talking about? This is getting your teeth cleaned. No, I think we're going to see a lot of decisions, a lot of lords, a lot of people weigh their options of who is the right, basically, horse to bet on, because at the end of the day, I think honor is a big deal for a lot of people, but for a good majority, it's probably, well, who's going to win? Who do I want to?
That's what Rhaenys decided.
Who do I want to hitch my wagon to?
She picked her side.
What side's what's gonna benefit me the most? And that's probably how I'm gonna make my decision.
Right. Yeah. And I think with Eric, it was just an honor thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the smart play is to stay in King's Landing. When you hold the capital city, it makes your position pretty strong. The Iron Throne is everything.
And it's like, even if the other team wins, it's like, well, I'm a Kingsguard. You don't have to kill me. I could stay.
Yeah, just
Robert kept Barristan.
Grandfathered in.
Yeah, let's just follow.
I don't know how Barristan, man. I don't talk about a guy with honor. To see one of your favorite pupils, Rhaegar, to see his kids slaughtered that way, and to still defend the king.
Just the honor, man.
You don't teach that anymore, man. You can't teach that.
They don't make him like Barristan anymore, man. He was elite, and he got murdered in an alleyway. Still not over that. What did you think about the Massaria scene? The idea of her being the new Varys.
What I think of it?
Yeah.
I hated her accent. I'll tell you that. It's hard to listen to.
Well, once again, the accent, people keep saying...
I feel like she was trying too hard.
There have been incredible performances delivered by people who don't speak English as their first language. ESL speakers. I think a perfect example of it is Tony Leung in Shang-Chi. That was his first English-speaking role. He clearly has an accent, but I could listen to that man talk all day.
Yeah.
The dinner scene when he's just breaking down the history of the magic and of his family, it's one of the best scenes of the movie. He doesn't speak perfect American English or English.
Oh, wait,
English.
Was that her trying to speak English? Or was she trying to do an accent?
No, she's trying to do a foreign, fictitious accent. Oh. And that's the other thing. She's British. She speaks naturally with a British accent. This isn't her accent. So she is trying to do a fake accent. And I don't know. I haven't been able to trace it. So it sounds fake. That's the thing. It doesn't sound like a...
There you go, yeah.
If you want to... If it's supposed to be an authentic, broken English accent, there's a way to do that successfully.
But
it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
If that's what she's going for. If this is supposed to be a bit foreign, like I said, a bit broken, she's just not doing a good job of it. And I don't think they're putting her in a position to succeed.
Yeah, it's weird, especially when you... definitely an up-and-coming actor who has gotten leading roles in both television and movies over the past year or so. It's like almost they had an idea for her to play this character. So if you're going to go out and get an actor to play a certain character and you hear that accent, and it's at that point, it's like, why are you, A, not letting her speak normally or trying to fix it or trying to do something else? Or B, why not just get somebody else?
Right, if you're trying to trace the accent to a specific real-world region, here's a crazy idea. Get an actor from that place. Hollywood never wants to do that.
No.
What's the France of Essos?
Dorne? I don't know.
No, Dorne's Westeros.
Yeah.
Oh. I respect what she's saying, though. Is the White Worm a big character in Game of Thrones, though? Or in House of Dragon?
Yeah.
She is a big character?
Yeah, she is.
What, she's going to get clipped, no?
Well, she was on file. They lit her.
She's on file now that she's the White Worm.
Right.
No, they lit her place on fire. No body, so can't assume anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why I assumed that she was going to get clipped. I didn't think she was dead. I think she gave up Aegon for a lot less than what she should have got for him. She could have got
She's
a
a
bag
champion
for him.
of the people.
She could have got a bag for him.
that's
She
what I
called
thought-
Judges 62, number 62. She's like, give me a signed bat.
It's one of the points I made on the other review, like her being a champion of the people and how badly they're treated and looked down upon by the crown. Then you have Rhaenys at the end, kind of just disregarding the dirty pig people. They keep getting worse.
The little piggies.
The small folk and just blindly killing them. So that kind of tracks in that way too, which I do like now that like I kind of think of it that way.
But the scum go there. No, I'm kidding.
Well, they're also being rushed in. It's clearly such a farce.
Yeah.
It's not like they knew that this was happening. They're just like, free bread, once again.
Yeah.
Free bread in the dragon pit.
I want to give props to, I can't say his name, Otto's actor,
Rhys Ifans.
Rhys Ifans. He's a stud.
Yeah, he really is.
I know.
I could not believe, because I looked up the cast on House of Dragon, and I wanted to see who, how do I say his name?
Ifans?
Rhys Ifans. I wanted to see who he was, and I'm scrolling down. I'm like, this guy looks like Replacements.
Little Nicky?
Little Nicky.
Lizard Man and Spider-Man.
Kingsman he was in too, right?
Yep.
This guy's a stud.
Everyone keeps
no,
I
saying
he's a
didn't know
good
he had
actor.
this kind of range.
Yeah.
Everyone says he's like a knockoff Tywin. I think he's like Tywin-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very, very similar. And I think
I think he's a little more schemy than Tywin. Whereas
Yes.
Tywin is always highbrow about what his plans and what he does. Otto, he digs a little. He gets dirty.
there's also, there's not much of it, but there's a warmth to his character that Tywin never had.
Mm-hmm.
He has shared genuine loving moments with Alicent, even though he's treated her so poorly and put her in all these terrible positions. But even the moment there at the end, which was very creepy, and Alicent is kind of disgusted by it, but when he says, you look so much like your mother, he's still holding on to that. That's something that you would never in a million years get out of Tywin. That guy was stone cold, steely faced. The only person we ever saw make him laugh was Arya, and that's because she called little girls stupid. He's like, oh, that's hilarious.
I got one of those.
I'm gonna keep you around. Yeah, I got a stupid little girl.
Tywin, you always felt like it was just for himself and what he can gain from everything. At least with Otto, you feel like he does love his family and he wants his family to do good.
Yeah, no, and Tywin never made it a secret. The amount of speeches he would give his children about legacy. It's enough. Shut up, old man. Well, none of them ever listened, especially Jaime. But yeah, to call him a knockoff Tywin, I think it's just because there are similarities there. I think that's
a compliment
not
for me,
fair.
at least. I think that's a compliment.
Dude, I think Tywin, the more I think about Game of Thrones, might be my favorite character, at least in the show. So
Oh, he's awesome.
I think, like you said, that is a compliment. Poor man's Tywin, I'd take that.
I always get, every time someone like says who I look like or whatever, it's always poor man's or Kmart brand. And I don't like it.
The Balenciaga, Criston Cole. Imagine that. Holy shit.
Did we bring that up yet? How bad I want him to die,
Yeah,
Cole?
you bring it up unprovoked every day in the group chat.
I don't think he's brought it up once in the group.
Not in the group chat. No, I did on Twitter. I want him dead. I want him to have the worst death possible in Game of Thrones. I hate him. I hate what he stands for.
What does he stand for?
I hate what he does.
Well, he's so phony when he tells
That's what he
Aemon
stands for.
that
Phoniness.
all
Yeah, exactly. That's what he stands
women-
for. Being a big fat phony.
You shouldn't talk bad about women because they're all made in the image of the mother.
Yeah,
And
he
a couple
calls-
episodes
yeah.
ago, he's like, Rhaenyra is calls her the C word.
Say it.
I can't say it.
Kooky pants.
So funny how it threw Alicent for a twist. She's like, whoa, what the hell? Where did that come from?
He's like, every now and then, Alicent's like, I can't believe these motherfuckers. I hate this crew that they put me with. Yeah. Between him and even when Criston Cole kills Beesbury, he's like, no one insults the queen's honor in front of me. And Alicent's like, yo, dude,
what are you doing?
And she was, it wasn't even like, oh, I need to pull back my dog here. It's more like, why did you do that?
Well, even when she asks him to go get Aegon.
I know. She even has to tell him, like, make sure you don't fuck this up.
Yeah, it's like,
this is very important to me.
What did she say? Something along the lines of, like, use
the love that you have for me.
Or
something like that.
But no one has ever gotten less
liked in a short amount of time.
I don't think anyone thirsts over him anymore. Everyone's well quenched.
No, it's
I thirsted over him in the first episode, or when he did the asked for a favor.
It's funny because I was talking to a friend. I was like, give it 3 or 4 episodes, they'll come back around, and you're already starting to see it. Yeah, can't resist a pretty face.
No,
but Damon, everyone was just like, oh, that's who he is. Criston, everyone's like,
well, it's so different.
Fugly-ass.
Damon doesn't try and hide who he is.
Yeah.
He wears it so much better. Criston's, once again, he's got this phony honor of don't talk bad about women. Damon's has none of that. So I think you just appreciate that. And it's the same thing with Rhaenyra, and that goes to Rhaenys' point that they are who they are. They're not pretending to be.
They said ghost of Rhaenys.
Damon's done so much worse shit, but we can respect him more than what Cole done. And I mean, Cole murdered Laenor after he pressed him, which I guess it's not justified. Joffrey, I'm sorry. It's not justified, but there's a reason why he did it, but you respect him more because.
Well, actually, no, I think that's a good point as to why Cole doesn't get the Damon treatment, because exactly. Damon killed his wife, and it was because he wanted a new wife. Still a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Criston just wanted to kill somebody because he felt sad about Rhaenyra calling him a whore. It's like, I'm just going to kill this guy because he made a joke. Damon, I'm sure you can make there are quite a few jokes you can make to Damon that would result in him killing you. But even when he killed Vaemon, right? He's just waiting, say it so that I can kill you.
Damon hates that.
He said say it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did say
Someone
said
it.
Yeah, no, he says it. He says say it.
Oh, say it.
No, Damon he's just cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
It's like,
that's the way to put it too, yeah.
It's like, see Russell Wilson, how like,
I swear I was going to call Criston Cole the Russell Wilson of Westeros, but I didn't want to put that on Russ.
Just so lame.
You can put it on Russ. He's horrible.
And like when they try to be
cringy,
cool,
man.
it's
so
even
cringy.
worse. Damon's just natural. Damon's
cool.
Damon's Joe Burrow.
Oh, all right.
100%.
Just naturally swaggy.
Right, but that's the difference between being corny and being phony. Mm-hmm. It's not that Russell Wilson's, now it's become a Russell Wilson conversation. Yeah. It's not that he's corny, it's just that he's fake.
Yeah, Eli's corny and everyone loved him.
Exactly.
Who's
the Eli? Yeah, right.
Viserys?
Harwin Strong.
No.
They don't resemble each other, but they show up, they do their job. Good, honorable men.
Harwin Strong, didn't he? He's the one that has a kid with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
What's honorable about that?
He raised them like they were his own.
The bastards.
Oh, now you're all of a sudden you're fucking a Westerosi lawyer?
I'm a big guy about honor here.
Oh my god.
He bent the knee. I have integrity.
You didn't
Criston Cole has Russell
Wilson. I'm saying like
the knee too.
You bent the knee to Rhaenyra, and now they want to go back on it. I don't like that.
Right.
Careful though. It's spicy.
You know what, man? I can't wait for season 2 when the Starks get involved in this.
I can't wait to see him either.
Best family coming back into the fold, letting everybody fucking know.
I feel like Starks, they get clowned on a lot.
The Starks have a big say in.
They're not like the It family anymore.
In Westeros?
Yeah, they don't give a shit about the politics of the crown.
No.
Yeah. At this point in the story, they're just kind of doing their own thing. The North really is just a separate kingdom.
What I'm saying, when the North, do they have that, like...
You don't want to fuck with that army.
Okay, that's what I meant. Like if the North comes down, it's like shit's happening. Like there's a reason why they're coming down.
No, and there's a reason why they kind of leave them alone as well. Yeah, because they've got
larger than all the other kingdoms have combined. It's the North, baby.
And those fighters, man, you're built different. It's like the South with football.
Yeah, you don't invade Winterfell during the winter. Everyone knows that.
All right, guys. On that point, we are going to wrap this House of the Dragon episode 9 spoiler discussion. We will be back tomorrow. We're going to record a special preview episode for the finale, and that's going to be us 3. So we're also asking for some. This is dropping Saturday. And we're also going to be asking for some fan questions on our social medias. So if you want to submit your questions, get on the episode, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you subscribe, put on notifications, all that stuff. And we will see you guys very soon.
I can't wait for tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
Talk about the episode 10. I'm excited.
Always pressing him.
I know, what the hell?
I thought you had big plans.
No. Well, I do have plans. I'm going to a farm tomorrow, but just...
Wow, that was probably our best review yet. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here with a brief shameless plug before we end the video. Do you ever feel like you don't have an adequate amount of nerd soup in your life? Like you're going to bed hungry and yearning for the nonsensical yet entertaining nutrients our podcasts provide? Well, we've come up with the perfect solution. The Nerd Soup Fan Question Podcasts, exclusively available to our Patreon supporters. You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/nerdsoup, and for the price of only $1 per month, you'll receive exclusive access to our weekly podcast, where we answer your questions that don't make it to the main show. And while you're there, you can check out the other rewards we offer to our patrons, like stickers, mugs, t-shirts, behind-the-scenes footage, and appearing in the credits at the end of our videos. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Roll the names of the nerds who make Nerd Soup possible. The reason why the crypto crash didn't send our lives spiraling down a black hole of no return. Alright, I'll stop talking so you can listen to this jazzy-ass music while checking if Bo spelt your name wrong in the credits.